that buzz up. Someone told me keep that buzz up when you fall. No one cares about your plummet. Got this feeling in.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're not, thank you for coming back. As always, my name is Esther, aka Topac. So this video is a story time video. As you can see by the description of this video, this is going to be my very first story time video, so please bear with me if I'm not doing it right. I just really wanted to share this. And also, I just got back home today, and I didn't really want my makeup to go to waste, so I thought I'd put it to good use, you know what I mean? So this is the story time of when my teachers hit on me, you know. Just a little disclaimer out there, I was not a girl, I was not one of those girls, you know, in Nigeria that, you know, when you're in high school, what girls were mainly concerned about was, and no, I'm not saying all the girls, most of my friends were mainly concerned about, you know, what boyfriends they're gonna have. I wasn't one of those people. I was actually one of those girls that my friends tried to like say, oh, what are you doing? Like, seriously, just date somebody. And I was like, oh, no, I don't want that. So I was one of those people that like, whatever. And majority of my friends were guys because I get along well with guys. Not because I was a slut or anything. I wasn't. I was that much of a tomboy that I just, you know, like seriously. So before you have the perception of, oh, you know, the teacher probably hit on her because she was a slut, I wasn't. I was not like this. I was like a major tomboy, and I still am, just with a little bit of beautification that's happened. Just so you know. So I just, now that we've gotten that out of the way. So this, my English teacher and my economics teacher. So for the sake of this video, let's just say Mr. K is my English teacher and Mr. J was my economics teacher. I don't, weird names. I feel like I have to write that down so I can remember. So Mr. K was English, J was economics. That's kind of weird because they have, so okay, English. I have to write that down so I don't forget. So anyway, so I was in SS2, which is year 11 in Australia, and if I don't know what year that would be in another country, but I believe like it's the year you're in before your final year. So I don't know what that is in other countries, but you get the gist. So I was about 16 years old. Yes, I was 15. No, I was 15 going on 16. That's right, I was 15 going on 16. I was 15 going on 16. I know it's 16 going on 17, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, so I was still a teenager, let's just say that. And I had been noticing this for quite some time, but I wasn't really quite sure. You know, being the kind of person I was back then, I was a bit clueless. You know, when a guy likes me, I don't really notice. I just, whatever. My friends are the ones that tell me. I'm like, it doesn't, you know, I just bump him the shoulder, whatever. You don't like me. You really don't like me, you know. So I was one of those people that was quite clueless when the guy likes you. And at this point, but with the teachers, I was getting a bit of an hint. I wasn't quite sure what I was seeing though, because the teachers were so weird that, you know, they'll bump you on the shoulder, they'll, you know, come up, like get close to you, wanted to hug them. I'm like, dude, seriously. I wasn't saying dude because I didn't know what dude was. So yeah, so anyway, so let me just give you a backstory. Usually when I finish school, I go home and I, you know, usually, you know, you go home. And when I get home and I don't see my mom at home, I'll go and meet her somewhere else. So she's usually with my auntie, which was in the city then in Nigeria. And at this point, I wasn't in a boarding school. I was, you know, in a boarding school majority of my high school period. But at this time, I wasn't because we just moved. That's a different story on its own. So anyway, this particular day, I went home. My mom wasn't home. And as usual, I went to the city to meet her because she's with my auntie. She wasn't really related to us, but, you know, as Nigerians, we call everyone auntie and uncle, even though you're not related. It doesn't really matter. So anyway, I went to meet her, and then you know, we did what we had to do, help them around in the shop or whatever, and then I was sent home early, so I had to take a taxi. So I took a taxi, I was going home. And usually in Nigeria at that time, I'm not sure if that's how it is now, so at that time in Nigeria, when you're in a taxi, the taxi is not just for you, it's also for other people as well. So even though that you're the first person that the taxi driver picked up, if the taxi driver sees someone else along the way as well, he's also going to pick them up. It's not really obligated to, but I guess that's a way for them to make money, because, you know, if it's just you like paying like 20 naira, and what is that, you know, like chicken change, you know. So the person, the taxi, so anyway, basically as we were going, I was already in the back of the taxi. I was the only one there. And then the next person the taxi driver picked up was my English teacher. Now that was Mr. K was Mr. K, my English teacher. This name thing is gonna be so weird. I just don't want to use their real name just in case. Maybe I don't really know. Anyway, so it was Mr. K. So picked up Mr. K. I was actually quite shocked, you know. It got in the taxi, and mind you, before that I said I had been noticing some weird stuff, but I wasn't really sure. So it got in, and because I'd been noticing some weird stuff, I was quite, I was like, oh my goodness, it's this man. He's so weird. He's so creepy, you know. So anyway, it got in the taxi, you know, sat next to me at the back, you know. I don't think it didn't see me before he came in. It just got in, you know, as normal, and it sat next to me. And we greeted each other. I was shocked, he was shocked, you know. And at that time I had my books. You know, if you went to high school in Nigeria, you know, sometimes you have your books in your hand, like your higher education and things like that in your hand, and you have your bag, because you have too many books. You have to have some in your hand and you have to have some in your bag. So I had my books in my hand, my higher education and things like that, and my pen. I had a pen because I was writing something. I can't even remember what I was writing. I kept journals then. Back then, like every time in my downtime I'd be writing stuff. Like I wrote a lot. I think I actually have a few storybooks, but anyway, that's another story. So anyway, so he said, how are you doing? You know, we exchanged pleasantries, and then I noticed it was coming closer and closer to me. I was like, dude, what are you doing? In my mind I was like, oh my goodness, what is this man doing? Like, oh, this is so weird. I hope this taxi driver is looking. If this guy is gonna rape me at the back of the taxi, like, I am going to scream. I'm gonna open the door and push him out. That's what I was thinking. I wasn't talking with this much sass, because then I was like a bush girl. I didn't really know sass. But you get the drift. Like, I was like, oh my goodness, God. I was speaking Yoruba, like, can you mind she leg me through? Like, can you mind she leg me? Like, like, I was speaking Yoruba in my mind, pidgin everything else together. Like, what is this man doing now? Like, seriously, you know, I was getting creeped out, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, all those Nigerian movies I've watched, this is how, like, at that time there was this Nigerian movie that came out. What was it called? My School Mother. It was probably that or another movie. It was a movie where a student was raped in the back of the taxi. It doesn't really matter. I can't even remember the name of that movie, but I was like, oh my goodness, if this thing happened to me, hey, I would curse this man. I was so freaked out and pissed and grossed out at the same time. So it came close. It was like, I don't know how people can be so weird. It came really close to me, and it sat really close, and I was moving, but there's only so far that you can move. Like, you're in the back of the taxi, you can't. If I kept moving, I would have opened the door and like rolled out of the taxi, and I did not want to die, you know. So anyway, it moved close to me. It was like, you know, he was like, hi me, hey, you know, Bawani, you know, how are you? No, actually, no, he didn't speak Yoruba. It was like an Igbo man. So how are you, you know? And it was one of those English teachers that feel like the phonetics, their grammar is quite on point, but wasn't, you know. Now that I think about it, he spoke a lot of bad grammar, but anyway. And it wasn't like overly handsome. It wasn't really handsome either. Like, it was okay, you know, okay, but I was freaking 15, you know. I wasn't even 16 yet. I was 15. Oh my gosh, I don't know how people became so weird. Anyway, it came really close to me. It took my book, one of my books that I had, my higher education. It took it from me. It was like, oh, you know, let me see your pen. It took my pen, and it was still looking at me, and you know, and it was looking looking at me from head to toe while I was sitting there, like looking, like scanning me from head to toe. I was like, what is this? I was in my school uniform. My hair was like all ragged. I was not pretty. I still don't think I'm fully pretty now, but I wasn't pretty. It was hard. My face, you know, it's not like I was like sexy, or I wasn't those students that wear like skimpy, you know, that roll their uniform shirts up because they want to look sexy after school. And I wasn't that. My skirt was long, my shirt was baggy. I wasn't that at all, you know. And it was just staring at me. And then it took my book and took my pen from me, and it scribbled something in my pen and in my book. It closed it back and gave it back to me. And it said, open it, you know. I think he was trying to be coy with it. He didn't want the taxi driver to know what was going on. And I could notice the taxi driver was looking at me with concern, but I could notice he was, you know, which was quite weird too. Which was quite good and at the same time. So anyway, it gave the book back to me and said, you know, open it. It didn't really like say open it loud enough for the taxi driver to hear. It just kind of motioned it and said, open it, you know, like open it. And I opened it, and what it scribbled was, I love you. I read that. 15-year-old girl with this man who was my teacher. I believe it would have been in his 30s, late 30s, or no, actually, maybe in his early 40s, I think. Yeah, it would have been. This man is, what the heck? He wrote it in my book. I was so pissed, and lo and behold, thank God, I was just getting to my stop. I wasn't even close to my stop. I told the taxi that this is it, and because the taxi driver, it was funny because that wasn't the first time he's picked me up before, so he kind of knows where my stop is. But when I said this is my stop, he understood. He was like, yeah, this is your stop, isn't it? Yeah, you put my drops in it. This is your stop, right? Yeah, yes it is. So I stopped, I got down, I got out of that car so fast, faster than Flash, because I was pissed off, grossed out, scared. I don't want this man to know where I'm coming down because I don't want him to follow me. And to get to our house, there's this like big bush area that you have to walk past, walk through to get to my house. I'm like, I do not want to get raped. No, this is not happening today. So I took the book. I was so in a hurry, and my uniform then was those round brown skirts that has like zip on the side, and my zip had opened a little bit. It did not open it, by the way. It was just one of those faulty zips, and my skirt was like coming down. I was like, I jumped out of that taxi, man, really. And I got home. But when I got home, the first thing I did was I went to my friend's brother. At that time, my friend's brother was like a brother to me as well, So before that, I think I had spoken to him a little bit about it. And I said, friend, like I got along with almost everybody, especially guys. I go along with them because we kind of had the same mannerism. Like I still do. I don't know. I really don't know why. That's just how I was built. So how I'm built. I don't know. Anyway, so I went straight to him because I saw him like my big brother, And I explained to him, and he was furious. He was so furious. And the next day, they were really walking with me. They were making sure I was okay. They made sure they didn't really go to the teacher per se because they didn't really want to cause trouble. But they were like, they kept an eye on me throughout, actually, and I was really quite appreciative of that. So anyway, that's it. So, and then the other teacher, the English teacher, I think I have to leave that story for another day because this video has already gotten too long and I don't want it to be too long. But that one was so weird. Seriously, the English teacher one was also weird. But this, the economics teacher, Mr. J, was so weird. I think I'm gonna have to leave that to later. So maybe next week I'll try and upload another story about that. But honestly, the moral of the story is, if a teacher hits on you and you find it creepy, go and tell somebody. Tell somebody who can help you. My friend's brother helped me a lot. He was in a group, they were protecting me. I was like the baby sister, which was great, and make sure that I was okay. They were like, I think my English teacher, Mr. K, noticed and backed off a little bit, because I was so scared, freaked out, and pissed off at the same time, So anyway, so that's the story, guys. I hope you enjoy it. If something similar has happened to you, feel free to comment down below. Share your story, Feel free to share your story. If you don't want to share it, that's okay as well. So that's it. That's me, 15-year-old girl being hit on by a freaking creepy teacher. Thank you for watching. My battery is about to die. Thank you for watching. I found it helpful. What am I saying? I don't know. So thank you, guys. So that's it. Thank you. Yeah. That was my first story time, guys. How did I go? All right. Bye. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. I really appreciate it. Bye. Why do we do our mouth like this when we have a style? It's so funny. No matter how hard I'm trying to, I can't help it. Okay, I can't. I want you all to myself.